73% of Canadians worry that climate-related weather events are driving their insurance rate higher. That's according to a survey by First OnSite. Joining me now to break down the basics for auto and home insurance is Bruno Jauregnig. He's Vice President of TD Insurance. Bruno, thanks for being with us. So first of all, let's start with why car insurance is so important and what it covers. Why do people need it?
Well, unfortunately, accidents do happen. Most people don't think it'll happen to them, but auto insurance is there to really help cover that financial liability that could occur. Costs of repair, cost of replacement for your vehicle, cost of damage you may create for someone else's property. Of course, as well, if your car is stolen, the need to replace that vehicle and the cost associated with that. And then personal injury, so you or your passengers. All of those things can add up really quickly into the thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's really there to get you back on your feet again and help really cover the cost of, or the potential cost of, significant financial loss.
And when you're going out and looking at car insurance, what are some of the things that can potentially influence the premium?
Yeah, literally hundreds of factors can influence the car insurance premium. So the year, make, and model of your vehicle, even the options you have chosen for your vehicle, impact the estimated cost of replacement or repair. Where you live is a big factor. So if you're living in a busier urban center where there's more claims compared to a more quieter, smaller town, that will impact your rates. Your driving record, your driving history, whether or not you've had claims before, and the same thing goes for any other insured drivers on your policy, their driving record and history as well. And then, of course, the amount of kilometers you drive in a given year, and whether or not you commute to work, and whether or not you use your vehicle for commercial purposes. Literally dozens and dozens of things can come into play when you're looking at your own personal insurance rate.
Well, and I assume that there are all of those things that affect how much you as an individual pay, but then there's also sort of macro world effects that affect insurance rates overall, and those rates are going up. So what are some of those factors?
Yeah, definitely. We've seen inflation impact the cost of repair and replacement of vehicles over the last few years. The cost of car parts and the cost of labor has gone up, which has created inflation. We have also seen busier roads. So we've seen the population of Canada increase significantly over the past couple of years, as well as driving behaviors go back to where we were pre-COVID. So busier roads means more accidents and more claims, unfortunately. And then lastly, car theft. It's been a real problem across Canada. We've seen car theft cause over $1.5 billion of claims in this past year. So significantly elevated from where it was a few years ago.
Wow. All right, let's talk about home insurance now. What kinds of things does home insurance cover?
So home insurance is there to cover the cost or damage to the structure of your home, your personal belongings inside your home, as well as additional living expenses should you have a claim and you need to live elsewhere for a period of time. So damage as it relates to storms, theft if you have a break-in and something's stolen, flooding or damage from fire, those things are all covered under your home insurance policy. And then also, most home insurance policies also have provisions to cover liability. So for accidental injuries, if someone were to get injured in your home, or if you cause unintentional damage elsewhere to somebody else's property, that liability coverage will come into play.
And so just to make sure I understand correctly, even things like a forest fire or, as you mentioned, a flood, you don't need separate insurance for that. That should be included in your general home insurance policy?
So most home insurance policies will cover fire, and then for flood, you do need to check to see source of flood, if it's overland flooding or if it's from within the home itself, i.e. a backup. So different insurers have different policies. So you do need to be a little bit careful to make sure you've got the right coverage that you need as it relates to flooding. That can be a little trickier.
Yeah, read the fine print, I guess, which is what you should do with everything pretty much. And what about the cost of home insurance and premiums there? We talked about all the factors that can affect car insurance. What about when it comes to the home?
Yeah, the biggest reason is the size and frequency of extreme weather events that we've seen across Canada over the last several years. So the Insurance Bureau of Canada lists the last 5 years, 5 of the last 6 years as some of the most severe on history as it relates to claims costs. And last year, 2024, was the largest ever on record by a wide margin with over $8.5 billion of insured claims. We've all seen the events that have happened. There's been forest fires in Western Canada, places like Jasper impacted. We've seen forest fires on the East Coast in Halifax. Large storm events have created flooding in Toronto and Montreal, as well as Halifax. And then, of course, we've also seen significant hailstorm damage in Calgary. So all of these things add up. And more importantly, they also add up to the fact that, with more of these events likely to occur, insurers are raising rates to cover that likelihood in the future being more frequent than it has been in the past.
And Bruno, what are some ways to save on car and home insurance?
Lots of ways to save. First off, you just want to make sure that you're getting the coverage you need. So reading that fine print is really important, and comparing apples to apples if you look at different insurers. One of the ways to save is bundling your home and auto insurance together. That usually results in great savings. Preferred groups. So if you're a college or university alumni, that will allow you to qualify for some preferred savings, as well as if your employer offers specifically group insurance for home and auto. Being claims free. So if you have a great record, that will definitely also give you some savings on your insurance. Installing anti-theft devices for your vehicle or other monitored devices for your home, things like security, fire, or water monitoring devices will really also help you save. So bottom line is there's savings out there if you shop around.
Good to know. Bruno, thanks so much.
Thank you.